Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we find ourselves at the first city in the continental U.S. Yes, that is St. Augustine, Florida. One of the most historic cities here in the U.S. We're going to do a little bit of exploring. We're going to check out all the sites. There's a lot to see, some really cool architecture, and some really cool establishments to check out. So we're going to go around, check everything out. We start our day off right over by the home of the Leitner Museum. This right here is the Leitner Museum, which used to be the Alcazar Hotel. One thing about St. Augustine, it is filled with history. So this was opened by Henry Flagler on December 25th, 1888, and designed by an architect Carrere and Hastings. Oh man, I'm not going to read all this stuff because I'm just going to mess up and stumble through the words, but an amazing little spot. And this is actually where Monique's friend will be getting married tomorrow. The statue over here is pretty awesome. The gentleman on there is Don Pedro Mendez de Aviles. And if we cross on over to the other side, you'll see this beautiful fountain. And in the back, that is a university. And it is Flagler College. Imagine going to that school. I'd be motivated every single day just looking at it. So, yes, today we're going to be exploring the historic city and the first city in the continental U.S., St. Augustine. But before we get into that, guys, I just wanted to let you know, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name's Eddie from Eddytainment, your one-stop shop for all things theme park, travel, and holiday-related events. So if that's your thing, make sure to comment down below, let me know, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoy it, and keep following along for more content just like this. But look at this. That's a university. I can't believe somebody goes to a college that looks this beautiful. But this whole entire area is amazing. There's a fort over by the water that we'll be checking out. There's these little towns, these little bars. Just St. Augustine as a whole has a lot of firsts. It is the first city, like I said, and the architecture is like this colonial Spanish architecture, which we'll be checking out and I'll be pointing out to you shortly. Here's our first little bit of colonial architecture. Check out this building.
I see it.
It's a bar, Scarlett O'Hara, but also these little roads here. They're like these little back roads that are like brick. Super cool. As far as shopping goes, you have plenty of little shops around. Got the Bath Junkie right there, the Cuban Coffee and Bakery. You know, we gotta pay respects to my culture. But yeah, there's so much to do. Food. We went to a little bagel shop. I believe it was called like Sweet Water. They were so nice, so cool there. Taking it all in here is pretty cool. Look at that, Cotton Waves, clothing for the resort lifestyle. Another thing you could indulge here from a kind of visitor slash touristy type of approach is a bunch of museums and different like art exhibits. And check out this stone building right here. I'm like amazed just as we make our way through of all the architecture. Sangria and tapas, wine bar. Now, here in St. Augustine, on top of all the things that there is to see, there is a ton of things to do on top of what I've already shown you. One thing that I've seen a lot of is different like tours. A lot of ghost tours, a lot of like tours of the area, like trolley tours. And one that they have that's currently still running is Night of Light, which is a trolley tour that takes you around all of St. Augustine area that's all like lit up, and they're still currently lit up even in the new year. So even after the like Christmas, December time, they're still doing these night light tours. I found this little sign right here next to this little like hidden alley, October House. Not sure what it's about, but it sounds pretty cool. You know, that's my favorite month of the year. It also sounds kind of creepy. Now it is a windier day, but over here on the water's edge, you get an amazing view of what St. Augustine has to offer. All these like cool sailboats are all set up. This reminds me of the Portofino over at Universal Studios. And one thing to point out with all the like Spanish colonial architecture, you get a lot of these like Spanish like clay shingles, as well as these really cool wooden shingles, which in a lot of the places end up having like moss and stuff grow on it. A cool little like effect of the time. It probably isn't the best for the wood, but it looks super awesome on the buildings when you see it. And there's the trolley tour. So those trolley tours, from what I've seen online, as you can see, they're going down the little alley, go anywhere from like 30 something bucks per person. Oh, there's another one crossing right in front of us, to around like 70 something dollars if you want to reserve like a whole row. Woo! It is super windy out, but I had to get this little angle right here in front of the water. We're making our way to one of the more historic parts of St. Augustine. I'll show you in just a second. It's a landmark that I remember as a child coming to visit, because I actually was born and raised in southern Florida, so we would come up to these areas like Orlando and St. Augustine as vacation. And I have pictures here, so this is very nostalgic for me. I also have pictures right here, like in front of this like little water area with my sister growing up, which is super cool, just coming to revisit St. Augustine. I haven't been here in a really long time. Somewhere that I definitely recommend. It's like a little hidden gem in Florida. To be able to walk through the first city in the continental US, that's super awesome to just say that. But also when you walk through it, even not knowing that information, there's so much to be seen. The architecture is super cool, as you've seen, and what you're about to see in just a moment is something truly historic here in the area. Sorry about the wind. Hopefully the dead cat is covering that up a little bit for you, but it is super windy over here by the waterfront. And that's right, we are here to check out the Castillo De San Marcos, a national monument here at St. Augustine. And it looks like they've had to do some working around, because hurricanes and just the overall waves crashing over the years have caused some deterioration. But just ahead of us is the actual Castillo De San Marcos. Let's get closer and check it out. All right, so we've made it on to the Castillo de San Marcos to take a little tour around. It's a self-guided tour, and it is $15 per person to get up on here. You can go around the Castillo, but in order to get inside and check it all out, it is an additional fee. And as we make our way in, they got this cool little drawbridge. And check it out, all the cannons up on the wall.
You may wonder, well, why would the flag of the House of Burgundy in France be flying over a Spanish fort in Florida? Well, it goes back to the late 1400s when a man named Maximilian Habsburg, who was the Archduke of Austria, and would soon become Emperor Maximilian I of the Holy Roman Empire for 2.5 months.
This right here was the last point of defense here at the fort. And that gentleman that we just saw, and he was telling us the story of that flag, explained, so all these like ends right here were made in like the shape of like an arrowhead, and that was made to deflect cannons from the main entrance right over here, which was the weak point of the fort. So super cool. I can only imagine, having like ships shoot cannons at you. That's crazy. The history behind this fort. And a cool look out at St. Augustine. You could see out there in the distance, that's Flagler College. And here's like a little plaque talking about the last defense, which is the area that we were just at. The ultimate defensa. La última defensa. Sorry, I tried to read that in English. And check it out. You got this little drawbridge. We're going to be able to see the quarters of the Spanish military and see how they lived inside. This entrance over here looks amazing, and also extremely intimidating with all these cannons up above. We've made it inside, and over here to the right, he did say was the quarters of the Spanish military. Let's go inside and check it out, see how they lived. Wow. Look at this. Barely a cushion. this little fireplace that they probably use to keep themselves warm. This is amazing and super tiny. If I just make my way around, boom, that is the end. Let's go check out that little plaque over there. And it talks all about a soldier's life. La vida de un soldado. Oh, la vida de los soldados. Everything here is translated in Spanish because they are the Spanish soldiers. Feel free to freeze frame this if you want to read this. And we also have this down here. And from the sleeping quarters here, we'll make our way over here. And just some more plaques. And check it out. This wall displays etched, burned, and scrawled graffiti left, all of them 200 or more years old. And if you get nice and close, that is crazy. The early stages of graffiti. And just behind where we are looking is the prison car cell. A small cell that acted as a jail for the Spanish. Right over here. The door's impressive. And you can look inside. And come on. Boom. Wow. No bed, no nothing. And now we're making our way out to check out more of the fort. But if you guys watch my videos, you know right now the word of the day is going to be sensory overload. This place is amazing, and we haven't even checked out half of it yet. And up the steps we go to check out the fort walls and get a view of St. Augustine from up there. Feeling like Leonardo DiCaprio right now, the king of the world. This is so cool. We're gonna go check out those cannons behind me in just a second. But imagine being a Spanish soldier back in the, what was it, the 1800s, defending this fort. Whew. This is amazing. And here's the Cross of Burgundy that the gentleman was telling us the story about. And basically this flag ended up here all due to a marriage of a young man to a Spanish conquistador, I believe it was that he said. And that's how that flag ended up at a Spanish fort. But over here to our left, we have this beautiful cannon, which has this, like, I don't know if this is the original paint or if this is just a patina, but this green color looks amazing. I can only imagine the kickback on this puppy when you shoot a cannon out. This right here talks a little bit about the 38-day siege in the 1740s by the British. And it's all started right here at this little like watchtower. Let's see if we can get a view inside. Somehow, some way, the soldiers got up there so they could keep an eye out for coming ships. And then we go in. Wow. I'm sure they had some type of like ladder system in here so that the soldiers could get up there. Wow, that looks so cool. And this is looking out. Every little bit of the fort that we check out just makes me wonder, you know, what was on a soldier's mind looking out from that tower? What was on a soldier's mind shooting out from behind this cannon in those quarters, hearing blast while in the middle of your sleep? The history here is deep, super cool. One of the many things here at St. Augustine but probably one of the coolest things to come check out when you're in town, checking out the first city of the continental US. Over here they have a cool little depiction of the kind of the militarized strategies that they had when building this fort. As you could see, deadly crossfiring. So defending from this angle over here, you were able to get a strategic advantage on the oncoming troops that were down there. And here, just across from that little placard that we were just looking at, we have this like cool kind of unique cannon, a lot more stumpy, but also looks like it would carry a much larger cannonball, and it would shoot out this way. All right, we've checked out all of the top edge over here. Now it's time to head back down and check out more of like the living quarters and how the Spanish troops survived back in the day. And now we are down below. We're gonna check out a bit more of these rooms, but I did see this map over by the restrooms is a map that will give you a better view of what the actual fort looks like. And once again, pointing out the corners are arrowheads, and this right here was the last point of defense. And you see how it's set up to defend this back wall right here, which was the weakest point of the fort. Okay, so this is how the guys use the restroom and the system that they use to make sure it maintained clean. It was actually nature, tidal waves, or well, not tidal waves, the tide would come through and clean it out for them. And here's another look at the restroom areas. Gross and interesting at the same time. Let's see what we got over here in this back corner. This seems like a cool little room. Oh, that is awesome. The King's Coffer Treasure Room. Looks like this is where they kept all the fancy stuff. It probably wasn't, but all I could imagine is gold bars and coins and gauntlets just sitting in here. And then like in Harry Potter, when you touch it, they just multiply. This room over here just talks about like all the preservation efforts for preserving this for the future. The National Park Service has done a lot to maintain the integrity of the fort. And as you go further back in that room, you got some cannonballs, and then also the tools used to load these cannonballs into the cannons. Here's some examples of all the munition that they utilized with the cannonballs, or with the cannons. These look pretty gnarly. These look like the things that you use to like massage your back, those old rollers. And here's a portrait of Ignacio Daza, the architect behind selecting the location and how the fort would be built. Unfortunately, he did not live to see his marvel. And over back here we have the entrance to the powder room. It's where they kept all the gunpowder at first in one of the oldest rooms in the fort, but eventually proved too damp and ended up just being like a storage and dump place. You gotta go through this little crawl space and check it out. It's kind of creepy down here. And it has like an ominous sound too. But I'm not gonna go all the way in. Actually, let's go. Okay. This is creepy. We just crawled in through that little hole in the floor right there. This is where they kept their gunpowder originally. Proved to be too damp, and they ended up just doing like trash and storage. It's super low. Let's crawl back down. And back out this small door we go. You gotta get down. I love this door. That little room was pretty cool, but my claustrophobia was kicking in pretty hard. And it looks like in 1763 to 1784, the English took over and the Spanish fled. And these were some of their other quarters. It looks like the crowds are picking up in here. We go into this next room. Oh, and check it out. Over to the left we have Soldiers Through the Time. So the first Spanish period, British period, second Spanish period, Seminole, Confederate, all the way to World War II. And here's a cool depiction of what it would look like defending the fort. As you can see, the oncoming enemy coming. This gentleman is pointing it out. They're coming. And check out their storage room. They keep all their tools for their cannons. Different little things over here. I don't know what they are. Firewood to stay warm. Alcohol, obviously, to stay sane. Veggies, fruits, and different things. It's crazy to think that people live this way. And one last look from up top here where the cannons are. So apparently, I didn't know this, but I heard somebody asking one of the guards over here, not guards, National Park security, this young lady over here actually, they used to do, prior to the pandemic, actual like cannon fire. They've stopped ever since the pandemic just because it attracts large crowds, but hopefully in the future they should bring that back. And back down we go. Let's make our way out and back into the city of St. Augustine. And there you have it. That is the tour that we've done of the Castillo De San Marcos, one of the forts that was put here by the Spanish to defend this waterfront, this beautiful waterfront right behind me. We're going to keep on exploring a little bit of St. Augustine. There's still much more to be offered and a lot more to do inside of there as well. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit extra. Just so you know, the ticket that you get for $15 is actually good for a whole entire week. So it's a hell of a bargain if you're here for a week or a few days. You could come back frequently, and I might do the same thing. I might have my receipt, come back tomorrow morning, check it out a little bit more off the vlog. And here's a look at the Old Town trolley tours that I was telling you about. They come by all these historic sites, give you a little bit of info. You're welcome to jump off and explore some of the places. As long as you have your ticket, you could jump back on later when they come on back around. And as we make our way back into the city area, these are the things that blow my mind. Look at this little structure. Like I talked about earlier today with the wooden shingles, completely wooden structure. And this is a little coffee spot. If I hadn't already had my Starbucks, I'd definitely be grabbing a cup. This place looks awesome. Oh, and check it out. It has this cool little seating area and everything. And here's one of those tours that I was talking about. So Ghost City tours over here. This little like back alley does like these little walking ghost tours around St. Augustine. And as we make our way through this beautiful little area, some more brick driveway, I gotta say, you know, with the ghost tours, that's something that I've been really wanting to do on the channel, just tours in general. So going into this new year, 2022, something that I look to incorporate a lot more often. So if that's something that you like, make sure to comment down below and let me know. That'll kind of drive me to make sure that I bring that sooner than later to the channel. I want to do some of like the theme park tours with like the roller coasters behind the scenes, and also some of these like ghost tours when I visit different cities. I know that we don't get this type of content as often, but travel is one of the things that I talk about on the channel, you know, incorporating that with the theme parks. But sometimes I'm just going to do travel like this to a cool city like St. Augustine. Our trek continues, and we have over here the Bull Crown, another one of these cool wooden structures with the wooden shingles. I love how these things look, as well as this kind of like alley setup. Reminds me of what I would think Bourbon Street would look like, but a lot nicer. Never been to Bourbon Street myself, but I think the historic nature of this area kind of outdoes the Bourbon Street look, but it reminds me of it because of these balconies and whatnot up here. And as we're making it our way through, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of beautiful places to eat, and a lot of them have these like courtyard looking areas in them. Very like outdoor-esque type of eating, but it looks amazing. Like, look over here, another one. Little like courtyard areas at all the establishments that are all nicely decorated. This looks like a seafood restaurant, bar and lounge. Check that out, guys. That is super cool. This is St. Augustine's Seafood Company Bar and Lounge. This is called the Colonial Quarters. Makes sense. Here's another little area that we saw last night while we were walking through. They had live bands. It's the music park. And check that out. They got like a little stage over there. This tree right in the middle. This looks amazing. Still keeping that colonial nature with this cool facade building right here, as well as kind of like just dining and experiencing with like nature. Guys, I think that's going to do it from our visit here in St. Augustine. We got to explore a lot of the city, but I still think there's so much more to explore. We got to see Flagler College. We got to see the museum that was across from Flagler College. We got to see the Castillo De San Marcos, which I think was an amazing experience, and then just explore some of the city offerings in general, see some of the tours that they have to offer, restaurants, eateries, different things that they have here at the first colonial city in the continental US. Crazy history. Another thing that they have here that I think we're going to go check out is the first wax museum ever in the US, which is crazy as well. I look forward to bringing that to the channel as well. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys on the next one, but don't forget to ask yourself, have you been detained?